We are. Now then, it's understandable that those who have a life-threatening illness will do almost anything to find a cure, including using so-called miracle drugs that they find on the internet.
But what do these miracle drugs actually contain? Well, Dom Littlewoods put one of them under the microscope.
It claims to be a miracle cure, the answer to some of mankind's worst diseases: AIDS, hepatitis, TB, malaria.
A person who's given MMS will be well from malaria in 4 hours.
That's Jim Humble, creator of Miracle Mineral Solution. And if you believe him, he even has cancer sorted.
I can say it, MMS will cure cancer.
Around the world, desperate patients suffering all sorts of illnesses have put their faith in Miracle Mineral Solution. 16-year-old Rhys suffers from Crohn's disease, a chronic and debilitating illness. Miracle Mineral Solution caught his eye online. This is the stuff we're talking about. Now, we got ours on the internet for 20 quid. Pretty cheap as far as miracle cures go. And if you believe the hype, this can cure most things. However, there is one snag, and that is this secret concoction is nothing more than industrial bleach. Now tell me about what you discovered on the internet.
Some people were claiming that their best friend had been cured of cancer by it. When I read something like that, I was extremely sceptical, and I thought, hang on, that doesn't look right at all.
Rhys was right to be suspicious. Recently, the American Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, issued a warning saying Miracle Mineral Solution can cause serious harm. We asked a professor of oncology to take a closer look. MMS comes in 2 bottles, which you're told to mix together. Do this and you've got chlorine dioxide. That's industrial bleach to you and me.
I can smell the chlorine coming off that.
That's a very strong smell. It's like being in a swim baths or a public toilet that's just been cleaned.
God, I wouldn't want to drink that. As far as I can see, there is absolutely no hard evidence that this stuff does anything for cancer. And we do have evidence from what's known about toxicology that the stuff is harmful or potentially harmful. I think this is dangerous, and I would stay a million miles away from it.
Judith Lewis wishes she had done just that. She was suffering recurrent flu symptoms and was worried she had a serious bacterial infection. She took Miracle Mineral Solution in a more potent capsule form, known as MMS2, and the results were frightening.
Violently sick within 10 minutes. I started to feel very nauseous all of a sudden, but there was then a strong odour of bleach throughout my pores, and that probably continued, just the odour, for about 24 hours.
Now here's what I find alarming. Because this stuff is marketed as a supplement and not a medicine, it's freely available on the internet. Former gold prospector Jim Humble is the self-proclaimed inventor of MMS. He says he's a healer and has made himself a bishop of his own church. He claims MMS has successfully treated over 75,000 malaria sufferers. And then there's that claim about cancer.
Are you allowed to say here on camera that MMS will cure cancer?
Sure. I can say it, MMS will cure cancer.
That's something for which there is not one shred of clinical evidence. But that doesn't stop Jim Humble. He told us in a statement that the FDA has no proof MMS is a danger to health. He says critics of MMS are merely protecting big drug companies, and medical professionals have little interest in curing the sick. He claims he does not profit from the sale of Miracle Mineral Solution, saying, "I do it for mankind." Rhys hopes one day to qualify as a doctor. For now, he's running an online campaign warning others about Miracle Mineral Solution.
I'd like to see a lot more warnings put out against it. I'd like to see the sellers of MMS shut down.
Well, it sounds like Rhys has certainly got his head screwed
Yeah,
on there. But Dr. Mark Porter is here. Now, Mark, it seems like an obvious rip-off, but there are people out there that are still buying MMS.
Thousands and thousands of them. And, you know, it's not that people are being stupid, it's just that some people are very desperate. And they believe this internet conspiracy that the only reason that this is being suppressed and that there's no clinical evidence is because doctors like me and the pharmaceutical industry have a vested interest in in not finding a cure, that if we find a cure for diseases, we'll all be out of a job. I mean, it's just frankly quite ludicrous. It's not a shred of evidence that it works. It's bleach. Don't do it.
And is there a governing body then to kind of stop, to control it, anything
Well,
like that?
as we heard in the film, there is for medicines. We've got quite good regulation in this country for medicines. This comes in as a supplement. It's under the Food Standards Agency. It is doing what it can, but it's a very difficult area to regulate. I mean, the advice is it's illegal to sell this stuff. Don't buy it. If you've got it, throw it away. If someone offers it you and they're UK-based, report them to your trading standards people. They'll contact the FSA and hopefully take action. And indeed, that's what we've done at the One Show. We've sent details of one retailer that we found online that's UK-based.
But as you said, Mark, it is illegal in the UK, but how are people in this country then still able to obtain it?
Well, it's illegal in the UK, but you can buy anything anywhere in the world, and the internet is global. It's very difficult to track down where these people are coming from. Jim Humble himself, and there's no evidence that he's directly supplying this, but he's been in Mexico. We had an email from him from the Dominican Republic. We don't know where he is now. We don't know where half these sites are based. I mean, it's a really difficult job for the authorities to track these people down.
Mark, thanks ever so much for that.